and will be held against you. What part of Northern California? We stayed in Junction City for about 6 weeks a couple of years ago.
I don't know where that is.
It's between Weaverville and Redding and Eureka.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe.
Oh, okay. So you're not north. I mean, this is like way up north.
more central north. I'm in gold country in the foothills.
Wow.
Nevada City, it's like gold mining.
Yeah. Really?
A lot of history, a lot of trauma.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they're trying to reopen the mine now, despite
Really?
knowing how it will ruin everybody's well, and there's all this cancer caused by it, but there's still money.
Well, we're all transforming this BS now. The silent minorities is becoming, it's becoming unstoppable.
I sure hope so, baby. Yeah, well, lately this money thing is really bugging me. It's pissing me off. So enslaved us.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just such because the distortion obviously is getting louder, but so is the personal expansion of individuals. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. It's an interesting contrast. It's as if it's as if the polarities are getting even wider and wider, and somewhere in the, and of course we're granted the opportunity to integrate and 0 point everything. And I guess as we're moving into a period of, it's time to walk the talk. We have been banned from Facebook.
I saw that because I was watching your show with Morgan yesterday, and then I had to stop, and I came back and it was gone.
Yeah,
and I'm like, where's Todd?
Yeah, they whacked us. So we went from 11, 12 platforms to 3 right now. So we're gonna, after the last show, I'm gonna go to work on it and see. We've got some long-term stuff that will allow us to disengage totally should that happen. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen for everyone. I think anything that's been created, with the foundation of duality is going to fall, because there's something bigger going on. There's something bigger than all of us that's going to have its way. Basically, the truth is coming out. I mean, this is a period that's been prophesized for thousands of years. So here we are, the select, the A team, boots on the ground. I don't know how.
Today I don't feel like the A team. I feel like the Z team.
Well, there's been a lot of that. There's been a lot of that going on.
The body's not cooperating very well today. When I was supposed to be on, it was my daughter's 21st birthday. That's how I remember the day. And I had 12 hours of sleep, and I felt fabulous. And I was like, woohoo, ready to go. And now I'm like, I don't know what
don't
to
feel
say.
bad. Don't feel bad. I'm the same
I don't. I feel the way I feel, man. That's one thing I've learned.
Yeah, and really, that's the way that that's the best way. We just show up. It's not produced spit and polish. I mean, it's June and July were huge for, it seems like, for a lot of people, and for me as well. And I just kept hearing, you got to show up. You got to show up. I'm like, I don't want to be doing this.
Oh,
I
Todd,
don't want to.
You're a hero.
Well, I don't know about that, but I think
the
transmission, I think, or the guidance was basically pushing me to put out a frequency of, you just show up as you are. And if you're shit that day, then you're shit. I mean, if you feel like crap, you feel like crap. If you feel good, you feel good. So,
hearing something you said in one of your interviews where you said, shit, man, Morgan and I didn't know if we were going to make it. I was okay in June. Now for me, it's been July and August. So it's like, shit, am I going to make it? Who knows? We'll see. I'll see if I'm here in September.
Well, it puts you in a place of beyond surrender, doesn't it?
No, I mean, shit.
It's that Zen proverb, let go or be dragged. It's like jumping into an abyss, and there's no bottom, there's no top, there's no sides, there's nothing. And and I don't know. It's just it's not forced, but it's happening. And you know, I don't know. It's amazing. And even when I talk to people, they'll talk about like what we're talking about right now, and they'll say, "But you know what? It just feels all right." Like everything is moving and it's all right, and I can appreciate that. So, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, that you answered Morgan's call. She put up a post a
I
while
did.
back, and the idea was, in regard to the hero's journey, specifically on that post, the feminine, which is so important. And I got to thinking about it as she was very passionately telling me it's about the hero's journey. I thought, you know what? Soulogy's always been about the hero's journey. From day one, not that it was presented that way in an explanation, but just through the energy of it. Because, of course, started with me just sending up words from the street with no pictures. And then other people started telling their stories, and I thought, wow, and I never really thought about it, but that's the way it went. But it's been amazing this month listening to some of these women that have been, well, I mean, they've obviously been affected by the energetic suppression of the feminine, and we're talking way beyond this incarnation, right? And they're coming out now, and I really feel like it's this cosmic fire hose has been turned on, and it's just not going to be stopped. It's just not. You can call it evolution, you can call it the cycle of the whatever, the Cowlugas or whatever. I don't know all that stuff, but whatever it is, it's happening, and we wouldn't be here if we couldn't handle it. That's the way I look at it. So
I'm gonna take that on faith, Todd. Today it's like iffy.
oh yeah, you're having a rough one today. So
Yeah.
so where did it start for you? Have you always been this weird?
Yeah. But I didn't know it until 1987. I
Ah.
thought I was normal until 1987. So, very young adult. And 87, a bomb went off in my life, and I had to change my life. And I ended up leaving, a good high-paying job. I was traveling around the world. I was, I had the perfect cutie pie boyfriend and everything, and I just threw that out the window.
So that was the year of the harmonic convergence. Was
Yep.
that a coincidence? I don't think
No.
so.
It's like I would call myself ultra sensitive.
Mhm.
So I feel the energy, and I can feel the energy today. There's a big bump up in energy today, and I have not yet learned how to regulate it in the body in a
Has
ground
anybody?
way.
Has anybody?
Well, you know what? I wasn't willing to be in the body until December of last year, when I was told on the solstice, go out and lay naked on your rocks on your property. And I'm like, it's cold out. I don't care. Get your ass out there and lay on those rocks. I'm like, how long? Until I tell you otherwise.
Holy crap. So
Yep,
you
so I
weren't
did it.
willing to be in your body until, well, what happened in 1987? Now you're bouncing along life, you got a good job, you got a cute boyfriend, and what happened? Did you get a visit, or?
I just got this energy, and I was way overweight at that time. So I started on a diet. That was the first thing I came up with. And I was on a liquid diet, and then I checked myself into a hospital for eating disorders because I felt like I needed therapy. And then I broke up with the boyfriend, and then I went on a trip to Mexico and met another guy. And then we decided to follow one of my big life dreams, which was to go around the world. So in like short order, in October, I met him in October of 87 in Mexico, Barra de Navidad. And by 88, I was living in Europe for a year with him. He's Austrian. He was my husband for a while. For 23 and a half years, we were together. And we ended up going around the world once in each direction. I was trying to find myself still externally. And I checked out about 77 countries, and it turns out I'm not there. So that was that. And then we came back here, and actually a huge part of my journey has been being a parent. So we ended up adopting a daughter in 2000. change of the millennium. Probably Mayan. We don't know. Her mother did not. We met her mother, her biological mother, and she didn't speak Spanish. So we weren't able to communicate with her. And raising this child who is extremely willful and had a lot of the characteristics of my father, my most challenging relationship, has been the journey where I had to stop projecting and claim responsibility for the crap inside of me instead of seeing it. It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. And so I was guided to share this story. It was the first 5 years with her was amazing because I was living with somebody who was in a state of unconditional love. And being with her, especially as an infant, I remembered, oh my God, this is who I am. But I was mainlining it through her in a codependent way. And so, and Mother's Day, a couple months before her 5th birthday, she said, I'm bored. And I'm like, oh, no. You're not going into ego. No. I need you. I need you to keep me afloat. And that started 3 years of intense fighting with a 5-year-old. And this kid, man, she held her ground. Not too many people could hold their ground with me, but she did. And then there was an experience. This is what I was guided to share. We were in Hawaii, and I love to snorkel. And she didn't want to, even though we got her the equipment and whatever. Then she sees sea turtles out in the water, and she decides she wants to snorkel, right? So I take her out in the water. The tide is coming in. It's pretty rough. Trying to get the snorkel on her. And she kept shoving my head underwater accidentally to keep herself above the water. And I felt rage. And I felt hatred.
Wow, that's deep.
No shit. And I said to the universe, and I meant it, you show me how to stay in love with this kid or take me out of the game. And it was the most sincere intent I had ever had. I said, I'm not kidding. Don't take me out right now. I don't want to drown her and me, but at some point, get me out of here if you can't show me how to love this kid. And from that point on, I devoted myself. Every time she triggered me, I sat with it. What in me is being triggered? All of my shit with my dad.
Wow.
So I sat with it and I sat with it and I sat. It took years of brutal work. And now we get along great, even though our personalities are so diverse. So that was a huge part of the journey.
So she's what, like 40 now?
No, she just turned 21 on the day we were supposed to talk.
Oh, I got you. 5th. I missed that. Okay, I got you.
August 5th, she turned 21.
Oh, that's right, because she was 2000. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. Wow.
So that's been part of it. And now, as you say, what's coming up are the two. So I tried to do the spiritual path. I did Course of Miracles, Course of Love, Way of Mastery, and I tried to stay out of the human. My gene key is that my core wound is that I feel overwhelmed by humans. I feel overwhelmed by life on Earth, right? So I tried to use spirituality to lift myself up into the realms and stay out of this freaking mess down here.
Mm-hmm. The real definition of spiritual bypassing, right? Escaping.
But I had all these male mentors who were supporting me, saying, you're not the body, turn over to the eternal. And this is what's been coming up just in the last month. I followed all these men who said, go to the eternal, go to the eternal, go to the eternal. And I did. But I left behind the human.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is despite the fact that professionally since I think it was, what year did I start? 2004, I trained in something called cellular memory release, and I'm a trained therapist, psychotherapist. And that was all about coming into the body, coming into the body, coming into the body, coming into the body. But I was like, somehow I managed to like come in the body only to clear the trauma and then go back up into the, heaven and screw this human. Screw the human. I'm not interested.
That's a recipe for disaster, isn't it?
No shit, Sherlock.
I know and actually probably everyone on here knows someone who, I've met personally, spent time with personally, and they've disappeared in the last year. There's no sign.
What do you mean?
I mean, they're just offline now. They were very prominent in these communities, and I believe my gut feeling is that's the situation, because even though, in other words, you can be connected to the nth degree, you can be bringing in the holy grail in downloads, but if you don't, I have the saying, we have the saying here, the human is the hero. And this individual, bless this individual. I want to connect with this individual. It's been a long time, but they used to tell me, I hate it every time you say the human is the hero. And therein lies the rub, because here we are, and we all have these different things, but what do we have in common? What's the one thing we have in common is we're all down here in the shift, boots on the ground, and even if you want to get away, you can't. And obviously there's a lot of people transitioning, but it's just I think we're the darlings of the universe.
You know what? I just said to somebody, we're superheroes. We're freaking superheroes. To be an ultra sensitive on the planet right now and feel so much, freaking superhero. Yeah. That's the way I see it. And a little bit more than 2.5 years, at the end of 2019, I realized, shit, I've had this glorious life, went around the world twice, lived in Europe, married to an amazing man who adored me for 23.5 years, had this amazing child, lived in Guatemala with her until we adopted her. I mean, my life has been amazing. And yet I hated being human. So what I realized at the end of 2019, it was like, it's about the joy. We got to figure out how to be, to me, it felt like an oxymoron. How can I be an ultra sensitive and joyful in a planet that's disintegrating? Whoa.
Or is it? Or
ascending or descend. It's doing both, don't you think?
I think in everything, there seems to be this paradox that's beyond the definition of our human explanation of what a paradox is. There's some kind of paradox that is the 0 point that I don't know how to explain it, but I get what you're saying. And, and I think the other thing about what you're talking about and what people are realizing, that we can't, we had a guy on this past weekend, a beautiful brother, and he said, all that stuff is great, but you gotta fall in love. You gotta love humanity. Right. And I went, wow, like it's such a simple, profound truth. And then the thing about Mother Earth. Now, I had somebody come on here one day, not too long ago, and you hear people say, and I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but Mother Earth is hurting. Mother Earth is a sentient. And yes, I get this. But they said to me, Mother Earth is a full-blown cosmic adult. Mother Earth is fine. Mother Earth is much bigger than we are, right? Not that she doesn't feel and this and that, but I guess what I'm getting at is, no matter what avenue you take, it always leads back to you, just like you did in your own life. And you have the honesty to sit here and say that it took you years not to externalize. And just by talking to you right now and your state of being in this moment, as you've again been very honest, it's still going on.
No shit. And, I thought it would be over. I've been doing this since 87. It wasn't intense until, maybe the last decade, but a decade. And so to stay out of victim for me has been like huge. There's this desire to go into victim, poor, pitiful me. And what you were saying about loving the human, as I told you, my gene key, I don't know if you're familiar with the gene keys, but when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's so me. I felt overwhelmed by humanity. So I always lived in rural areas, away from or on top of a hill or whatever. And now I'm like, oh my God, I painted myself into a corner. And now I love people and I want to be connected, but I don't have many connections except online. I don't have that many locally. And this to me is a great grief that I have to be with.
Yeah,
because
well,
what
don't
I'm
feel like the
seeing,
Lone Ranger.
well, a lot of us, because I have it that those with a sensitive nervous system tend to be light workers. And then we tend to feel like we need our space. But what I'm coming to, I heard you talking before I had to cut out with Morgan and community. So maybe 4 years ago, I broke down the word community. It's come to unity.
Yeah.
And it's like it went off like a bomb in my head, kind of like what happened in '87. I was like, this is about community. And I live so far out of community other than globally, with people. I'm part of a leadership academy, and we just had an amazing meeting with people that were facilitating from Berlin, and I'm like connected and I love them. But I want some skin, I'm ready for some skin. For touch and co-regulation. And, when I heard Morgan talk about how she's in this community and she feels supported. Oh my God, isn't that what we need?
Yeah.
This is so intense. We need support.
Yeah. Another thing this gentleman said this past weekend was, we don't know how to be human. Like we've been this version that we all know isn't us, right? These multiple identities. And I think this community thing, right? So we're coming out of this codependent frequency kind of a field. And our idea of community, and you see it all the time, and I get it all the time. I've been getting it a lot this week. Something's happening, which is, hey, okay, and I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm trying to make a point because I think you've got some light to shed on this with your experience and your candidness. But it's kind of like, hey, Todd, how's it going? We're doing something over here, and you're welcome to come, or you're welcome to participate. And oh, by the way, can we do a show about what we're doing? Okay, now do you get it? So what's the reality here? The reality is, what is your intention? Your intention is to expand awareness of what you're doing, and I get that. Okay, and I'm a team player. This is a team player platform. But I can no longer engage the bullshit. And I don't know whether to call you out on it because I'm your friend or just ignore it. I don't know what to do yet. And right now I'm not doing anything. But my point is, we can no longer communicate in this codependent frequency.
Yep.
A spade is a spade, as they say, and telepathy is the order of the day. So we might as well get buck naked to the soul. You know what I mean?
I love that expression, buck naked to the soul.
But you know what I mean? When we talk about community, this is a new version. This is the Trinity energy. This is where you and I collaborate, and we both gain equally, as well as the collective. Anything less than that, any shell game, any smoke and mirrors, any unspoken intentions it's disrespectful, and it's disruptive to the trajectory of this come to unity thing that you're talking about. I'd love to hear your comments on this.
Oh, I'd love to comment on it. So I was thinking about this. I saw this somewhere and I can't remember exactly how it went. First, we were dependent. And, I remembered recently that my mom couldn't pick me up for a year. And I've been processing the neediness that was caused by that, and then feeling, nobody's going to love me because I'm needy. I need to be with that because I was projecting it outward. So it's dependency, then codependency, and then independent.
Hmm.
And now I say we're moving towards interdependence,
I
but
love
it is
this.
a tricky game. I heard you, Christy's a friend of mine, so I heard her interview, and I heard a bit of Brian, and then you and Morgan. It's like, how do we get out of this codependency? It's so ingrained in our cells with the trauma. I want to tell a little story because I feel it really personifies what you're talking about. So I just came from Southern California, and we've had 3 months of heat and smoke up here. It's been, it's so like I can't go outside to get my regulation from nature that I normally would use. So anyway, I'm a week down there. I can breathe. Everything's great. I asked my daughter if she wants this special role that they have down there, and she says yeah. So I was like, I don't really want to go over there, but I told her I would, and I bought an extra one. So now I bought 2 of these things for her. And I said, you got to meet me the day I get back. They're perishable. Yep. So I get back and I say, you need to come over. And she says, well, I can't. And then she says, I want to come tomorrow. And I said, well, I'm not around. Then I got pissed. And I realized I had set it up. I set it up so that I would see her. I set it up so she would be grateful. I set it up in all these ways that were codependent without being over. I didn't even know I was doing it until I got pissed. And I was like, I did this supposedly as a great gesture. She doesn't want it. End of story. Not you. What I realized was I was setting up, you owe me gratitude.
Yeah.
I went over there. I spent extra money. I went because you love this thing. You owe me. And when I saw that, I was like, oh shit. Oh my God. Thank God the kid's strong enough to say, F you, Mom. I'm not falling for the trap.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
She is powerful.
Well, you're powerful.
Thank you.
Well, it's obvious.
It's hard for me to own it today.
Well, and this is the best, because one thing I think we're learning is this transparency cannot be attained without vulnerability. And the vulnerability has a gift called empowerment, like this power. Like, it's almost like, have you ever got to the point in your life where you get dressed down in public where everybody knows what happened and you really don't have anywhere to go and you just go, all right. I mean, it's like, there's something about that. And, yeah. And I want to go back to what you said real quick, because I just want to, you said dependent, codependent, independent, interdependent. And I think about this, I had a corporate career before I woke up, and I spent a lot. Yeah, and I spent a lot of time.
I wouldn't imagine that.
Yeah, building businesses, starting businesses, and all that stuff. But anyway, so there was this article I read that I really adopted, because a lot of the stuff that I did, I was either going in and turning around a division or a company, or I was building from scratch. And this was in the hundreds, 150 different scenarios, right? So it was, a business has 4 phases, and you could just remove the word business. And I think you could actually interchange your 4 words with these 4 words. And the first one was immature. The second one was fragmented. And the third one was cohesion. And the fourth one was synergy. So when I think about what you just said, it to me looks very much like the same pattern of energy. And so if I look at the field as I was taking in what you were saying, I think even having discussions where we're talking about the rhythms and the realities and the interactions and experiences in the present, as we step from one into what's the next one, which is ultimately interdependence, we're never going to get there unless we discuss it and we call ourselves out like your daughter does to you. And it's not about, oh, I'm right. It's just, hey, let's just cut the shit. I mean, this is a perfect example. You said, here, I've got this gift for you. Now a set of expectations has been created, and you have just shat on her, and you know what I mean? So it's really to me really powerful when a person of your frequency says, hey, it was a week ago and I fucked up. you know you know what I mean? You're owning it. And that's what else, what else is there?
I'm happy I saw it. Do you know how many times I've done this and not seen it? And I just went, and this kid is great. She told me one time, she said she can feel, because she's this nervous system tends to get agitated, and raising her, it was terrible things I did, agitated. And she said she can feel when I call her or text her if I'm agitated. She doesn't answer me. And
Wow.
she also won't, she wouldn't do Mother's Day because it's close to my birthday. And she just like, no, you can cry all you want. You can beg, you can manipulate. The kid wouldn't budge. I'm like, and at first everybody was like, oh, that's such a bad daughter. And I'm like, damn, this kid is calling me to my sovereignty. And my word for this year is power. And I got to tell you, I have spent most of June and July knee high to a fucking grasshopper. And I facilitate a group. And I'm like, I told them, if you think I'm going to show up here with anything, you forget it, just leave, because I'm just going to show up raw and naked.
There you go.
And if you can't take it, and some people can't take it, and that's okay. I have had two of my closest friends, when I admitted how needy I've been feeling, boost. Okay, God bless.
Yeah. And it's not even a right or wrong thing. It's just where, it's being in touch with the frequency that you're carrying in the moment. And really you're going to congeal with those that are like you. And if you and I, for instance, go like that today, it doesn't mean we're not going to come like that at some point. I think that's another form of the frequencies that we're coming from and going to that you're talking about, such as, I have a lot of people message me, and I've met a lot of people as we've traveled around the country and such, and I receive messages, and it can be from somebody that I have, say contact once every 5 or 6 weeks, which for me, that's somebody that's close to me, because I'm like you, right? Or it can be somebody that I don't hear from a long time. So I get these messages of it's like a call. They're saying a lot of stuff, but what is it really saying? I need the fix. I need for you to acknowledge me. I need for you to interact with me. It's externalizing. And at first it was difficult to say no, but now it's easy because I know it's the best thing for them and the best thing for me. Does it mean that I look down on them? No, it just means that I can't fit that bill right now, that they'll find it somewhere else, but I'm not going to do any good trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. And what have we all done? These super sensitives that you're talking about, we've all tried to become normal, and look what the hell happened, right? We tried to fit in. We tried to fit in, and look what happened. It went to shit. Yeah. Right.
Honestly, because I thought that for so long, I thought there was something wrong. And then thank God I met the guy that became my husband, this guy, the Austrian I met and went around the world with. He was like me. And I was like, holy shit, there's more of us. I literally didn't know people had emotions. I was raised in such an emotionally deprived environment that when I think I was 15 or 16 and I met a friend who had emotions, I'm like, other than rage, I knew all about rage. I'm like, oh my God, there's other people who have emotions? You're kidding me. This is exciting. So to carry that something's wrong with me thing for so long. And I got to be honest with you, Todd. I'm still like, I don't know how to be ultra sensitive on the planet right now. It's a play in progress, day by day, because for me, it's the body. When I was down in Southern California, I was trying to avoid hearing anything about energy. And then I heard that the energy was going to spike on the day I was driving home. I was like, oh, fuck. I got to drive 8 hours Today, I can't open my eyes. How am I going to drive 8 hours? It's not possible. So my mind was like, ah!
You're funny.
And I had to really sit with it and own how terrified I was of this drive. And I had the easiest drive I've ever had. It was the least traffic in 10 years. The Central Coast, instead of being 108 as it was on the way down, was in the 70s. Wow. I could get out and walk around. There was no smoke. I only stopped twice. I made it in 7 hours. I've never made it in 7 hours. It was a miracle. So for me, a lot of it is I get to get out of this old victim story about sensitivity that says your body's going to implode. Your body's going to do this. I have eye surgery on Monday, and I have to believe that I can fast for 8 hours with no water, and I can do it no matter what time they tell me, and blah, 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 blah. So I have to keep getting in the new and stop being out of this victim story of sensitivity. This is my big message. If I have gone through so much with this sensitivity, and maybe I'm the only one, and if so, God bless me, but I doubt it.
No, you're not. You're actually speaking to your brethren and your sisters. I mean, it's the typical story. You remember, I came off the streets 10 years ago. 8 years ago, after a couple years on the streets, and I got a laptop, and I started to actively share the Soulogy stuff into community, into groups, and a lot of the groups were empath groups, right? Living with a narcissist, empath support. I'd never thought about it. I'm like most of us who thought everybody was like us, and then you find out that nobody's like you, and then you start that whole, seesaw thing, the yo-yo thing of trying to conform and pull back into your. But my point is, I don't see that as much anymore. Maybe we're moving into a more cohesive field, that independent field you were describing, that third phase. Because as Morgan has said many times, who is just like you, very hypersensitive, very much been a journey that so many people can align with, that the empath power was a weakness, but now it's becoming a superpower, right?
I can't wait to embody that. I have not done it yet. I got to be honest, but my word, as I said, for this year is power. And when you said I was powerful, see, I feel so weak right now because the body, I read a Matt Kahn, which I haven't listened to Matt Kahn in like 6 years, but he wrote this post about, we are going through this period of despair because all the false identities are falling away. And it is not, for me at least, it's messy. It's not pretty. A lot of people are running from me like my hair's on fire, and that's okay. I understand. I'm surprised I haven't lost more followers or people because it doesn't look fun. And I can tell that there's people kind of like rooting for me. Like, I wonder if she's going to make it. I wonder if I'm going to make it. That's the truth. And I don't know why this is popping in too, but I've had this practice for about 4 years, maybe. I call them earth angels. And a part of it was about loving humanity. So every time I find somebody who supports me, because at that time I didn't feel supported, I acknowledge them on Facebook and I call them an earth angel. And I tell them, or so if they let me, I take their picture, because I really want to acknowledge how amazing people can be in these difficult times. Yeah. And so then the more I acknowledge them, guess what would happen? I'd meet more and more and more. And I literally was walking into the eye doctor appointment on Monday, 2 days ago. And I had this thought, which my dad was a doctor. I had this thought, doctors are impersonal and cold. And I was just about to open the door of the office. And I went, no. Done. These people are going to treat me like I'm their favorite cousin. And guess what happened? They were bending over backwards for me.
Such is the experience of a responsible conscious creator in a quantum field.
But I got to catch it. I got these old programs running, and the biggest program I have is I'm a victim of sensitivity. That's the one I really got my eye on. Yeah. It's too hard on my body to be here.
Well, just the first words, I am a victim. of. It doesn't even matter what's on the other side of, because well, you know what? I mean, people talk about fear-based programming, but what does that look like at the boots down on the ground level? It's victim consciousness. So and what is that? It's either means I'm a victim, and this is another one. Well, here goes the wounded healer archetype, or they're a victim, and I'm going to go raise the banner and shout and scream at the top of the mountain and tell everybody how horrible this aspect of the world is, when in reality, all I'm doing is avoiding what the universe keeps taking us back to, which is me. And it's so weird. It's so crazy, this paradox, because you're going to tell me that I'm one soul, and if I bring myself to the highest level on a present moment by moment basis of what I can be, which by the way includes the state of being that you and I are sharing today, which is all whacked out. But if I can do that, that's the greatest contribution I can make. It's not going to be to go out here and save whatever the cause is. It's going to be to raise my frequency, period. And it doesn't fit with the world as we know it. It doesn't. It's not encouraged. But I think like I said at the beginning, I think we've got a strong, at a minimum, silent majority that on an energetic scale is far greater than this movie playing and the energies behind it.
Yeah, I just got distracted because I looked at I see these words flying by, and I read one of them, so I'm gonna bring myself back present. Yeah. What do I want to say?
Wackadoodles, Bruce said. The wackadoodles. The wackadoodle.
I'll be a wackadoodle. I like it.
No,
that's my official title. Wackadoodle.
But I mean, look, to me, this is gold. I had a show a couple days ago, and Morgan, we have, obviously she's 16 hours. She said, "Hey, did so-and-so get into their journey?" Because this person had been on the show a few times over the years. And I said, yes and no. It wasn't like the traditional, here's what happened along the way, but her present moment transmission and explanation was the hero's journey. It was in the motion of her expression, because it was all about kind of like what you're doing right now. It was kind of like, yeah, this is where I'm at. You kind of get an idea of what I am. I'm 1987. How many people are talking, there's not a lot, right? I mean, if I looked at these 3,000 shows that we've done, it's probably going to be maybe 5%, maybe that said, oh, I was aware in 1987. But the point is, they're still human. They're still being upfront about what's going on. They don't have all the answers. And here you have a community, and you go to them and say, hey, if you think you're going to get this from me today, you got another thing coming, because I'm coming raw, right? And I don't even know what that brings, right? But that's somehow or another in that paradox, that's the power.
You know what? I really appreciate you saying this, because I try to tell myself this, but because I don't get a lot of support, I feel like I'm making it up, and without a lot of validation. Not that I, depend on it, but it helps to receive it.
Yeah.
And I had a moment just a couple of minutes ago where my daughter has some very difficult circumstances occurring. And initially it started in, I think the end of May. And Mother of God, to not make her a victim. And a lot of it had to do with money. Mm-hmm. Her dog needed surgery. She had just given up her pet insurance. Her car died the same week. She couldn't work. I mean, it was ugly. And oh, Mother of God. And I did do a little, maybe rescue, I don't know, whatever. I did what my heart guided me to. I don't have the finances to bail her out. And to sit there and say, she's got this. Mm-hmm. Like even right now, it's harder for me to do it for her than for myself.
That's the real deal.
Yeah.
And it's a bit, we talk about these identity thefts, and one of these identity thefts is we do want to help people, but we've reached this point. It's like crossing the Rubicon. It's like, well, you can't have a little bit. You either have to go all the way or not. And it's like, it's almost like the whole atmosphere in the energy practitioner arena that I've watched since 2019, where there's been this evolution. This evolution of I'm going to fix you has become, let me show you what I know and share it with you. In other words, let me open this door and show you where I got to and let me tell you what happened when I went through the door, but I can't go through the door for you. But there it is, right? It's weird, but it's like this cycle that's leading back to the self-empowerment, which means if I look at you and I say, oh my God, she needs this or she needs that, who am I? Who am I to say that you don't have the same magic and alchemy and so on that I do? Right? I mean, it's like, how are we going to get there if we don't engage it? And the magnificent thing, which I think you just gave a great example of with the doctor's office, it's contagious. It actually works. You're like an antenna. You reprogrammed yourself. You said, no, it's not going to be like this. Boom, you go in, and then what happens? Who do you think created that?
See, what amazed me is I did it 30 seconds out. So on the drive back from Ventura, I had programmed it for I knew that this was a challenge for me. I had programmed it for weeks. But I have to say I was stunned at how miraculous it went, because I went from couldn't keep my eyes open, had trouble driving to the beach 5 minutes, and even getting in the water, which is my favorite thing in the world, and doing a couple of boogie boards, and then saying, oh yeah, I'm going to drive 458 miles through a really ugly area. And even that, on the way back, my husband, I called my ex my husband.
Your husband.
Yeah. He texted me and he said, how about you enjoy the trip? And I was like, enjoy highway. Anybody knows Highway 5 through Central California? It is not gorgeous. On the way back, I said, God damn it, I'm going to find something to appreciate about this trip. It's like the scenery changed. I'm like, look at those hills over there. They are gorgeous. Look at these vines. They're pretty, and I mean, I was searching for it, but I found things to appreciate because my mind was now searching for something different. And I mean, I could not believe how easy the trip was. I've made that trip many times. It has never been that easy. It's like the whole road cleared off for me. And, it was like the divine said, hey, Savannah's coming through. She has decreed this. Everybody get out of the way.
Exactly. That's, Morgan unexpectedly lands in Queensland, and so she finally lands at this place, and two scenarios that your car trip brought it up. So the first time she's going to go from point A to point B, and I'm on the phone with her. Like, we just take every moment we can to connect, right? So here she's perfect. It was 2.5 hours, right? Now, fast forward to another week, the whole atmosphere has changed. There's more alignment, things are, whatever. I talked to her, same trip, hour and 20 minutes. I'm talking to her and she goes, oh my God, this can't be right. I just saw the sign for the town. And sure enough, she rolls in. So how do you explain this? Are we or are we not quantum creators? Did you decree that? I think so.
You know what? And I don't think we had the energy, because I taught a lot of classes, right? And I had a class, I think it was probably 2007, and it was called Open Sesame. And it was like, ask and you shall receive. Just say open sesame and the door will open. No. And so I think a lot of us were doing Abraham Hicks, law of attraction. Well, I fell flat on my face a million times. I think these high frequencies have different energy. And my hair often stands on end, but even this surgery, when I think about it, this, that, I mean, there's a million ways my mind wants. I'm alone. You can't bend over. Blah 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 blah. You know, if I fall down that rabbit hole, I'm screwed. But I have to allow whatever shit is coming out. Oh, by the way, did you say that you had a lot of skin rashes?
I did. I didn't know how
Man.
bad it was until somebody said the other day, "What did Morgan give you to get all that stuff off your face?" And then she's like telling me, "Yeah, I've been telling you, you know." But yeah, I had it. I had it all here, all down here, all everywhere. But it was all on my face. I mean, it was all. But it's under control now.
Mine's been on my ass. I keep getting I thought it was poison oak, but it keeps coming back. So I don't know. And now it's like, oh my God, I'm constantly.
You're so transparent.
I am.
I love it though. But this is it. You know, this is
what have I got to hide?
Yeah.
First of all, you and I never met, but I feel close to you. I feel good with you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm trying not to look at the feed because it distracts me. So I don't know who's looking and who isn't. And God bless. You know what? Sincerely, if I could help one person who's sensitive get through this thing a little bit easier, man, would I be grateful. You know, it's just been such a ride for me that if something I say by being transparent helps somebody, God bless. I mean, really, God bless.
That's the frequency. You know, I've been saying this for a while, you know. I mean, this is 5,000 videos, and many of the early videos were just me grabbing it and talking because that's what I was told to do. Like, what am I supposed to say? Well, you figure it out. But what I don't go back and watch stuff. I learned not to do that a long time ago. But every now and then, if something pops up on, and it might not even be mine, it'll be, because it was like 2014, 2015 when people started to do lives. That's when I started to do them and upload videos. But what I noticed about myself and other people was the attraction or the engagement or the magnetization was the heart. It was just Savannah being Savannah. You could be talking about how you make fried chicken. You could be talking about anything, because you know what? We have entered the no bullshit zone. That's what's happened. And whether we're
no time for the bullshit.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Time.
But everybody's picking up on the truth frequency, which is why, I mean, think about the distortion. I'm amazed at watching, and I'm not politically affiliated, the president in these news conferences. Had this been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20, 25, this guy would have been hammered. We're literally, if you want to take this perspective from the human duality, the laughing stock of the world. This is what is this? It's like a cartoon. So at the same time, you've got this truth frequency that's working in our favor. It's not, we spend a lot of time in the shadows and we need to 0 point this and that, and that's all accurate. But what about the offense? What about your gifts and abilities? What about your superpower to feel things? What can you do with that? Right? Yeah. But what can you do with that?
I'm trying to own it, honey. I am. And somebody just said, whoever you were, thank you. You said, Savannah, Savannah, you're a jewel. Oh my God. To claim that, you know?
Yeah.
And somebody said they had a teddy bear. So this guy is just sitting next to me. My husband gave it to me for one of my birthdays. So he just wanted to come on and say hello.
Your husband.
So I want to go back to something, Todd. And I don't know about this, but I want to explore it with you. Okay. So on the day before I needed to make the drive, I was shit scared. I couldn't keep my eyes open. My body felt like it was covered, full of lead or cement. And I was like, the anxiety that is the thing that I spent most of my life. That's why I became a therapist, and it was like full blown. And I get this message from somebody that I had been close to like 15 years earlier and I had heard from once in that time. She messages me and says, hey, how you doing? I'm like, whoa, well, actually, I'm not doing good. Oh, really? What's up? I feel like I can't hold myself through this. I got all this trauma coming up. And she says, well, do you want to talk? And I went, yeah. Can you handle it? Yeah. Okay. So she calls me the day before I had to leave. And God bless her. The feminine energy, the compassion she held for me, instead of like, what the hell? Most people are running from me when I'm this freaked out. She held me with such compassion. I want to say her name, Ellen Springwind. I hope she'll listen to this. And I swear to God, her bringing the divine feminine instead of this, you're not a body, be eternal, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. She's like, I get it. She said, try this tapping thing. Try this. I care about you. I'm not going to leave you in your despair. And I swear to God, she was such an earth angel. She helped me gather the strength to make what for me was a Herculean effort. Yeah. And you could call it rescued me, or you could call it co-created with me. And so I'm very interested. So of course I'm not going to come in and rescue you. It won't work. But I have it. And I have it that Morgan might have it. I don't know her at all, but that we are meant to come together in community and hold each other. Some of this shit is so fucking gnarly, so traumatizing. If somebody could come and hug me right now before my surgery, that's what I want to create. This is my vision. This has been my vision for so long. I am here. And I do believe it's easier when two come together. I'm certain that I'm going to be with a partner who's going to be really grounded, unlike me yet. I'm getting there. But we're going to come together and we're going to create this community, and we are going to hold people, and we're going to create this force field. So when you are knee high to a grasshopper, you're going to come here and we're going to surround you in love, and you're going to be fortified to go through it much easier than what I had to do. This is my vision. And I'm super grateful that I have the chance to put it out into the world.
I mean, you're the epitome of it. This moment is the epitome of it. So, people talk about, and I'll tell you about the Morgan thing in a second, but this is a small mirror that is the result of co-creation, collaboration of literally tens of thousands of people, right? And I look at it all the time because it's one of the only 2 or 3 things that I actually get. But I can see the field, and you think, okay, well, here's a field of support. Here's a field of support past the point of embarrassment. Oh, I can talk about the paranormal. I can talk about alien interaction. I can talk about leaving my body. But you know what the coolest thing is about this Soulogy consciousness? It's not me. It's not about a person. It's the place where people can come and do what you're doing. It's a place where they can say, the energy is kicking my ass today. I don't know up from down. I've had divine episodes for 20 years. I've been a teacher. I've done this and I've done that. But you know what? None of that means shit. Right now, I'm in the shit. So I'm just telling you. And see, you asked me about, is Morgan like that? Yes. So I remember first meeting her a few weeks into it. I thought, oh, this shit's getting real, right? Like something in me said, you better. Now, she obviously knew that I had a wild streak, because it was on camera every day, right? But I knew that I had a place where I could, and I knew I had to as well, which I think is where we're all headed, where we are going to be buck naked. So I ended up calling her and I said, I need to tell you some things, like the worst thing in me, right? And so I did, to the best of my ability at the time. This is 6 years ago. I told her probably a third of it. But there's the kind of thing so dark and decrepit that if you just told a little bit of it, that was. But the point is, number one, I told her, and then she just goes, "Is that it?"
I heard you say that, and
I
how
was like,
beautiful!
I know. I was like, What do you mean? Is that it? I mean, I'm like convulsing, crying, and like shaking and having a, you know what I mean? But that's what you're talking about with your friend. And that's what I see. That's one of the major characteristics, this nurturing, this holding space of the mother energy, that's rising in all of us. And as a result of that, the programming, the trauma of the patriarchal man, woman, and child is having, fits and spurts as it goes, not out the door, but as it falls into a line. I mean, it's not an easy game here on Earth. And I think every one of us, all 7.8 billion, are the darlings of the universe. I don't care what role you're playing, because to walk on this earth in this density with this level of awareness now, let me put it this way. I can understand why some people have intel that a quarter of the population will transition and choose a different path to ascension that will not be a physical embodiment because of the intensity. It's prolific. I don't know that's ever been done.
And I think to do it, we have to be in the new. And, I was in a group the other night, and people are all excited about this truth coming out, and, the various things about the jab and all this. I'm not excited. I mean, I know a lot of people I deeply love that are on the other side of the equation. And if it turns out that we're accurate with that, it's not going to be pretty. I'm not excited. I'm not happy. And people are already going to, I know so much, but I've been exposed to it gradually. If people are exposed to this suddenly, the cognitive dissonance, I'm afraid people are going to go mad, literally mad. I know I almost have. And so, yes, of course it needs to come out. But am I like, woohoo, yes, let's do this? It's more like, oh, wow, this is going to be something for us little humans. This is going to be, and I believe, I don't know about you, Todd, but Franco, I listen to Franco all the time. And I messaged him and I said, Franco, please you've got some power here. Tell him to turn it down. My body can't take it. That was my story at the time. He wrote me back and he said, you know what? I asked them to do that. And they said, because we need to get up to speed ASAP. Yeah. We can't turn it down. And I'm like, oh, crap. And I have a story that the reason I'm getting hit so hard is because apparently I can take it, even though I feel like I can't.
Yeah. That's the whole point. You ever go through like a major, like just shit storm, and you come out on the other side and you're all tender and sore, and and you go, wow, I fucking did it.
When I made this drive home, you should have seen me. Oh, I got to tell you, this is like one little detail. So when I first got down to Ventura, I had my tire gauge go up, and this is one of my big, I can't handle this. I need a man. I need my husband, So I went and got the tire fixed. They were all gorgeous. They were super helpful. They even took the tire off and found a tiny leak and yada, yada. Okay. I'm driving home and I stretched out my leg and I guess I hit some kind of button and a warning light comes on. I'm halfway home. A fucking warning light comes on. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Is it dangerous? Do I need to pull over? Oh, shit. No. So I started to go into my little victim story. And then I went, I don't have energy for victim, honey. There's no space for this one. So I'm like, what is it? Well, if it's this, then you should call the dealer. And I'm like, I don't have room for this. And so I got the thing, like, just push that button again. And I thought, well, what if I blow up the car? I don't know what's going to happen. And it was like, no, I want you to push the button. So I'm pushing it like, I hope it's okay. And then I was like, no, I don't want this fucking warning light. It's bugging the shit out of me. So I just went, the light went off and I was like, I have won the lottery. Oh my God. Oh, thank you. When I got home from that trip, I was like, oh my God, I am a goddess.
That's what I'm talking about. If we, we forget. Morgan and I were talking about this a couple of days ago. I was saying we forget all the divine episodes, all the signs, all the synchronicities. We forget, and we also forget what we've transformed. We really have, because there's this whole element in the paradigm we're leaving of when you get there. So we have this vision of heaven as, you know, we get to heaven and you know, I go into my office in heaven, I put my feet up on the table and everything just no, this is both the weakness and the strength, right? It's like that what we've been running from is actually where it's at. And what is that? It's like my friend said this past weekend, we don't know how to be human. And I said, well, you're right. So, you know, you could say we're becoming the divine human. We already are, but it's our natural nature. What's our natural nature? Our natural nature, there is no worry. There is no forgiveness. There is no healing. So you know, there's that old saying, and I don't like it, but it's, you know, you fake it till you make it. I don't like that. I like, it's time to walk the talk. Like, look, either we bite this off and chew it or spit it out and go on down the road and do whatever you want to do, because that's probably the answer anyway. Do whatever you want to do. Be who you are, which doesn't make any sense. How can there be magic in you being you and me being me? But there is. That's transparency. That's no BS. That's power in some weird way that the world's never let us look in that direction.
Well, like you said, it's synergy. I didn't know you, you know, an hour and 8 minutes ago. I'd never met you. And now I feel like there's a connection, and I feel totally natural and totally relaxed. And my cheeks are red because that's what happens to me because I'm excited. And believe me, I was like, why couldn't I have been interviewed by Todd on my daughter's birthday when I'd had 12 hours of sleep? And I felt like I was on top of my game. I was like, oh, I got this, baby. And today I was like, I don't know what to eat. My house is a pigsty. You know, where's my clothes? Oh, are there any clean clothes?
I thought I was the only one, but
no, honey.
But you know, if it makes you feel any better, I was the same way. You know, I got off the first show, lovely lady, beautiful. You're all beautiful, and I'm laying on the couch going, how the fuck am I going to do this
Today?
And I said, yeah, right now. So I set my alarm for, 3 minutes before the hour. That's how, you know, easy. I can come in and turn it on in 120 seconds. But it's the same thing. There's this spirit, I guess, this newness and because it's not woo-woo, you know, because it's not fluffy love and light woo-woo, because it's very human, it's hard to accept sometimes, but I think I'm getting it. This feeling, these feelings, these emotions, this humanness that we have, it's not going to change. You're not going to fix it. What we're going to do is what we're doing is transforming it. And you're living proof with your story of this gift of what is in the human form, your daughter, you know, and the story of driving back and the story of going to the doctor's office. They seem like these little bitty pieces of universal minutia, but they're not. They're giant cosmic nuclear bombs that are creating this new earth through these personal choices and responsibility that we're taking, and the lack of externalization and the wounded healer type of frequencies where we basically make excuses not to look at ourselves and take responsibility. And you're living proof. And this is what it looks like. It's not peaches and cream. It's fits and spurts, a few F-bombs, and maybe a martini or whatever it is, whatever your Jesus is, to get you, you know, back to where you need to be. That's a joke. Don't anybody do that. But you know.
Well, you know what? My food changed while I was down there. It's like I bought this roll, and you know, my daughter didn't want it, so I tried to eat it. It's sweet. It's a double baked almond croissant. I used to love them, and I was like, and I could feel the heaviness. I knew I couldn't eat it before I drove home, so I ate it after I got here, and then I was like, ugh.
Right.
And you know, now I don't know what to eat. The care and feeding of Savannah is quite the chore for me. It's like, God knows what that chick needs. I don't. It's like,
you know what? This is on point though, because you know I've mentioned it. You know, I've been juicing 80%, 85. Now the last 10 days, probably 95% juice. It's not, it's ease and grace. It's just natural. I'm like you. I don't know what to eat. I want to eat a fucking taco. I'm a Mexican, for Christ's sake. I love tacos. I can't. I want a flour tortilla. I can't. So I go to the store. I've been doing great. I go to this little convenience store on the corner and get gas, and they have a deli, and they have the best pizza you've ever had. So I go in and I think, I've really done well. I drank 100 ounces of juice today. I'm going to have a pizza, and I'm going to go home and watch a movie. I'm going to have one slice of pizza. I had that pizza. I ate the piece of pizza by the time I slammed the door to walk in the house, right? From the gas station to the, and as soon as I walked in, my body went like that. And I just went into, yeah, I get it. Okay, I get it. And I immediately went into, I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to forgive myself because there's nothing to forgive. And within a few minutes, that whole alert from my body, which was basically communicating through discomfort, it relented. I learned my lesson, and I don't think I'll be going down that road again. You know, it's just, it is what it is today.
And it could change.
That's
I've got
right.
a friend who can eat anything now. He went through, he had to be so careful. Now he can eat. He stayed with me for a while, and he was sitting there eating chips and salsa. And I'm like, whoa, I mean, just full on. And I mean, you name it, slathering mayonnaise on stuff. And,
God.
Yeah.
See, I think Morgan knew I was serious when there's no eggs in the house and there's no mayonnaise.
Oh, shit.
That's all I could live on that every day, but I haven't had them in quite a while.
Oh,
but I think this is I think this is just one thing in the physical experience that really is indicative of an energetic trajectory and pattern that we're all, because it's affecting everything. It's affecting the things we talked about in interpersonal relationships and how we communicate and how we show up. And this is a superpower, in my opinion, for you to show up.
Say it again. Say it again.
It's a superpower. Yeah. But who would think that letting it all hang out is a superpower? Who would think that you saying, I got a rash bigger than Alaska on my ass is a superpower? But it is a superpower to drop the guards and drop the walls and drop the bullshit. And look, we all have it. We all have these attachments. One of the big ones is, this is my mission. You know how many times I have let go of Soulogy? It broke my heart. It broke my heart to the point where I was just, what am I doing here? But it applies to all things. The universe, the you, me, we, and it is going to make us stand in our own essence, and we can't be attached to what we channel and what our so-called purpose is. We can't be attached to the traumas. We can't be attached to people. And here's the thing: we do that, and we gain everything. We lose nothing. In fact, we open up whole new universes. So it doesn't make any sense. And all the crazy people, I'm hanging with them because I believe in fairy tales, and I think we're kicking ass.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, you don't know. I'm going to tell you. I write a column for the local paper, and I write pretty much on Facebook every day. And then I say, "Oh, screw it," because I'm very vulnerable. I always say, "What the hell's going on? If it's good, if it's good. If it's bad, it's not." And then I don't get that much feedback, and I'm like, "Oh, screw it! I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it." And then I call this voice inside we. I used to call them they, but it felt too impersonal, so I call them we now.
I like
and they
that.
go, "We says." Go write. I wrote a column last night. Go write the column. I'm tired. Go write the column. And here's what you're going to write about. So we has instructed me all along. I worked in the prisons with teaching mindfulness. It's like we tell me what to do. And I try to resist like this. I know that this surgery and all that I have to go through to believe that I can pull it off is perfect. It's triggering me left, right, and center. Perfect. Yes, we love you, Savannah. We're going to trigger you left, right, and center.
Why do you think you and your daughter are so close, right?
Oh my God. But like I have to, she's supposed to drive me there. And it's like, is she going to really drive? My mind will go, she's not going to show up. She tends to sleep late. She's going to sleep through it. And I have to just watch that mind and go, oh, honey, I know you're scared. She's going to sleep through it. Oh, okay. All right. And breathe, and breathe, and breathe.
A lot of that, right? Like a lot of just, self-talk, or even to someone that'll reach out. It just comes out. Just relax and breathe. I mean, I've never been a conventional light worker, so to speak, meditation, all that stuff, right? But I'll tell you what, I've been focusing on breathing, especially the last 3 or 4 weeks, because I get into this state and I'm going, I use this mudra that Morgan shows me to bring all my aspects in. But even then, it's just three fingers on your strong hand onto your heart for 3 minutes. You'll feel it. I mean, it works. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but I think it's something else. But anyway, I'll get into these mind fucks, where they're, like you're talking about, how am I going to get there? She's not going to show up, or how am I going to do this? Or I'm tired. I don't want to be here. I thought that thought was gone, or why did they say that to me? It's like, hey, get the hell out of here, and just focus on my breath. And I feel, because the body's really come online. I think everybody's pretty much said this year, if I had to pick one theme of 2021 for Soulogy anyway, which I think is a reflection, as the individual goes, so goes the collective, has been the body. The body's speaking to me. The body's changing. The body's like the inner child. It's going, hey, I'm not going to be ignored any longer. And if you don't start communicating with me, I'm going to make your life hell.
Oh, you know what? It's funny because I have friends who are all about the body, and I was all about the spirit, right? And I ignored the body, and it's like, no, you're done with that. But what I did yesterday I had a good day. It was the first day I felt like normal in the body. I meditated twice for 20 minutes. I just started the day before. I read these books. I mean, everything I had to do to stay in line. I did a slant board. I mean, it's like what I have to do to make this body be at peace with me. Holy shit. I never had that level of discipline. And I've got a friend who chose not to have open heart surgery, and she's now on this diet. I mean, she can't eat anything, and she's just doing it because she didn't want surgery. And I'm like, God damn, you can do that? There's
a lot of medical, what they would call medical, and there has been for years, but we've been privy to it because of the show. But yeah, I've heard some extraordinary stories. And this one happened several years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, but a friend of ours from Australia, they were going to cut his leg off. He had cancer. And he woke up the next morning, and it was like a microcosm of the whole thing. Because, let's say society was his family, wife, kids, and so on. He wakes up and says, I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to do it. And then quickly he changed, I think, his diet. He started blending CBD, and he developed a routine. 10, 12 years later, he's fine. But I'm hearing a lot of stories about what we would call medical miracles or instant healing.
Like I get this because I'm not clear. It's like, eat this, don't eat that. I don't know. And I go to the store and I'm like an idiot. I'm like, can I eat that? I don't know. Can I eat that? I don't know. Can I eat that? I don't know. So I don't. Well, the good thing is I'm losing weight because I don't know what to eat. Me too. So the big thing is I have to not judge that I don't know what to do with the body right now. And, I want to exercise, but it's smoky and hot. So I haven't even been, normally I walk every day. And
I can't even fathom that. You see pictures and stuff, but because I think like the last time Morgan and I were driving somewhere out, I think towards Sedona, last September. But like, I think the fires, and this was a year ago, but I think the fires at that time were in California, but you could see Now it was 2 states away, and you could see the orange. It looked like a sunset, and you could see the discoloration or the contrast of the smoke against the horizon. I mean, I can't even imagine being being in the vicinity of that, and then energetically dealing with that. Like, you already got like the energetics of a mask and the energetic of stay away from people and keep your distance and the different types of restrictions. I'm not talking literal. I'm talking the energetics. So then they have the smoke, like that further immobilizes you, right? It further limits you,
You know what? I asked yesterday on Facebook, I said, can anybody help me 0 point this? I don't know how to do it because it's been hot since June, like in the hundreds. So it's too hot to go out and do what I normally do. And then it's been smoky. And so I had 1 week where I could breathe. Oh my God, I was on the harbor in Ventura and I could breathe. And I was like, oh my God, this feels so much better. So not to be a victim of coming back here. And then the other thing, I listened to part of Ryan's interview, and I'm like, my friends moved to Texas. Why didn't I move to Texas? Why am I in this state where there's all this suppression and smoke? And what the hell am I doing here? And why am I here? And I don't know. I don't know. But that Morgan went to Australia, like knowing it was, I'm sure she was not going, woohoo, I'm going to Australia.
She didn't even think about it. I mean, we got a download. She got it the day before her birthday, 9th of March. And we're connected. So intuitively, I saw it. I saw it happen when it came in. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew something big had happened. And then, of course, everything unfolded. But and I think that's another part of what's playing out too. Too many people, especially like yourself. I think of you. I think of Pamela Johnson. I think of Patricia Robles. I think of these Franco. I think of these people that have been plugged in one way or another, off the beaten path for many, many years. And all of this is coming to fruition. We're reaping what we sow. And so what do you have? You have this, 50-ish, we're in a great relationship. We're both, and we get called by what? That same thing that we've been all following, that's made us crazy, that's made us go to the psych wards and to jail and to whatever, yet we're following it. And it's the one thing that we'd hang our hat on. You're not going to hang your hat on anything else at this point in the game. We've come too far to just come this far. So I think we're going to slowly but surely see the product of our efforts, all of us.
Praise God. I would, I feel like, my God, I have put in my time. What the hell more? My biggest thing is I was certain, I've had this vision of the relationship in the community, and it doesn't seem to be manifesting for years, and so to keep on, just keep the faith. This is my vision. I actually had the vision of being in the new, it was a visceral experience. I was in the new earth for about 45 minutes.
Really? What was it like?
Oh, mother of God. It was so beautiful. It was so easy. Everybody supported each other. Yeah. Everybody did what they loved. Everybody was kind to each other. It was like the tension that dropped out of my body for that 45 minutes. It was like, I'm not surprised I'm having eye surgery because the vision.
Wow.
It's so different from what I'm seeing, the smoke and the heat and the blame, and the separation and trying to say, turn us against each other. I told you what it was like to have an infant and be in a state of pure unconditional love. And it was just everybody was coming from that place, and everybody wished each other well. And everybody supported each other, and everybody did what they want, and nobody did anything for money. Everybody was so free.
Hmm.
Oh,
You see, I just want to thank you. But this is why I get up every day. This is the purest code we're ever going to get. I don't give a shit who you're channeling. This is how it works. And this is what the universe has offered us the opportunity to expand on. So I just want to say, this is why I show up. Thank you. And anyone who wants to come on this platform, and I don't give a damn if I got to do this 24 hours a day or we get some other people to sit in this chair, anyone that wants to come out here and walk the plank with your brothers and sisters and share this type of new earth frequency, we're ready here at Soulogy to support that. And let's do this again. I don't want to leave you, but I got to go do another show, and I don't know what the hell's going on. I hope it's ascension and not old age, but I have to wee every 30 minutes now. It's probably this massive intake of juice and water and coconut water and herbal tea. But yeah, you're just you're a superhero. You're a goddess. You are the new earth. And God, how in the hell does this make any sense that when we do what you just showed us how to do, we're actually laying down the new grid and expanding it and showing other souls what real power is. It's amazing. I'm just honored to be here, and
I'd love to do it again. I'm totally honored that you call me a superhero. I had a Wonder Woman clothes on my avatar because it's the opposite of how I feel. So I really thank you.
You're Wonder Woman with a rash on your ass. That's it.
I'd love to do it again if it ever fits.
Absolutely. Later in the year, yeah, we'll get together. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff coming together, and let's just stand tall, and everybody. Wow.
I love you, and I love everybody listening. I wish you all the very, very best. So much love to you.
Thank you. Be back in 30 minutes. See you later. Bye.